This is homework number 1, problem 11. What is the value of 3x squared minus x plus 13 if x is negative 2? So what you have is an expression, and it's got a mystery number, x. We're squaring x, times it by 3, subtracting x from that amount, and then adding 13. And they're telling you what x is. X could be anything, but in this case, they're saying it's negative 2. When you have an expression like this and you need to evaluate it for a given value, here's what I'd like you to get in the habit of doing. Rewrite the expression exactly as you see it, but in place of the variable that you have a value for, put a pocket, put a pair of parentheses, exactly where x was. So I'm going to put a pair of parentheses where x was, the exponent outside of those parentheses, and then another pair of parentheses here for the x, and then the remaining part of the expression. Now I'm going to pop the value in that's going to replace x into those parentheses. Let me use a different color. Putting a negative 2 in for x. It's really important that you get in the habit of using these parentheses, because you won't make mistakes like leaving out the negative sign on the 2 and thinking that it's this minus sign here instead. Nope, we need both the minus sign that's in the expression and the negative sign on the negative 2. Alright, now we're going to use the order of operations to evaluate this expression, to calculate it. And so, parentheses, exponents, multiplication or division, whichever comes first from left to right, addition and subtraction. So starting at the top, I have parentheses, but there's nothing to do inside of the parentheses because there's just a single number there. So let's go to exponents next. This is really, really important. Only the negative 2 is getting squared, and I need to do that first before I multiply it by the 3. Now remember, negative 2 squared, I'm just going to do this off to the side, is negative 2 times itself. Negative 2 times itself, 2 of these multiplied, thus the exponent 2. Well, what is negative 2 times negative 2? It's positive 4. So this becomes 3 times 4. And then we still have minus a negative 2 plus 13. Alright, order of operations says after exponents I do multiplication or division, whichever comes first from left to right. And I have multiplication right here. So this becomes 12 minus negative 2 plus 13. Alright, and then addition and subtraction, whichever comes first from left to right. The subtraction comes first. So I'm going to start here with 12, subtract negative 2. Now if you remember from Math 99, when you subtract a negative number, it's the same as adding the opposite. Adding the opposite. And so 12 minus negative 2, check it on your calculator if you're not sure, becomes positive 14. We end up doing the opposite of subtracting 2. We end up adding 2. And then finally, I'll be adding that to 13. The final answer, as it says on your homework sheet, is 27. So, when we have this expression and we're told what x is, it ends up coming out to a value of 27.